Hello, greetings and salutations once again. It's Saturday Night Reaver. I'm at an awkward angle. That's better. Yes, hello, how are you? How is the world? What are you up to? What's going on where you are? These are all questions that need to be answered at some point in our lives. Um, so just rushing through at the moment, just trying to get everything going on. We've got two of the mercenaries type characters. So we've got a Trench Pilgrim, and we have a Scripture Guardian, who is a golem by all accounts. And because I had no idea what the hell it was, it's a fairly new model for the range, so it was a little bit touch and go as to like what the hell's going on. So just get a message from Little Legends, who's basically apologising because this apparently sent out a lot of drunk texts last night, which is fair. So it just threw me somewhat. Story. Right, so just doing a few bits quickly. Right, okay, that's better. Out. Announcement from Adepticon for Trench Crusade in 2 hours. And first, well done. Dude, I have to say that the map that was revealed yesterday is absolutely fantastic. I screen capped them from the Facebook page, and I was looking through them earlier on, just trying to get a better view of what's going on in the wider world. How are you today, buddy? You alright? I've got the technically the last two models of my batch of models. I just realised if I get these done tonight, that's like 2 warbands in a month. Well, from when I started, we weren't. I didn't start until sort of the second week of March, I think. because I was away for the first. Yeah, I wasn't here for the Saturday for the first. But anyway, clap hands, clap hands, clap hands. So we've got the Trench Pilgrim and we've got the Scripture Guardian. Judge, is the music okay? Is it loud? How is it? Because obviously I can hear it. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Pretty spectacular. I'm hoping they produce it as a print. Cracking. Doing well. My stuff won't be delivered until they produce everything, but I can be patient. Music good, mellow and background. Good, because it's a one of those sort of like random sort of like tunes. Lilith's Lullaby, Dark Fate. So appropriate for these. Right. Who do I start? Maybe just start with a big guy. Put you to one side. I had to because I couldn't find its actual hand, because as I've mentioned before, all the stuff I got was all in one box, and there was a lot of sort of like random bits and pieces as well. I think I got like some of the like Antioch weapons and bits and pieces. So I was sort of ciphering through them, and I had no idea what the hell this thing was until I was able to sort of search it out. But basically, this hand it has now, this claw-like hand, is actually a gas mask. So, you know, like the little gas masks that they have on the infantry guys, they had like a gas mask on its own. I thought it was just like something that hadn't had the flash cleaned off. So I cut the back part off, so it's got these weird handy things that it's twisted. But you can just see there's like an, I don't know if it's gonna, you'll see there's an eye piece just there. So yeah, it's obviously it looks weird anyway, so that will do. That will do. So yes. A bit I missed when I was cleaning up, and another bit. Right, so luckily I've done a little bit of research earlier on, Googled pictures. So I know that these are all cloth here, and that's like a lot of melted wax at the top there. So I'm probably just gonna, I'll do a quick dry brush with something saucy, he says. And onto the floor. Booba shaker. Sorry. But yeah, it's some of the other stuff that you've seen coming out of Adepticon, like I know it's not really for the game, but like the helmets and the rifle they've got there was actually pretty cool. Yeah, it just seems it's really like crazy how well it's done and the directions it's going in, and obviously getting in people like Andy Chambers and Jervis Johnson involved. That's pretty special. Actually, I'll do the same with this one. Was hair dry time already. Yeah, so last night I did obviously post in Instagram, but I painted these two anti-tank dudes. So that's all four of them done, and I also did the sniper priest and the one with the machine gun. So no, we're not going to do it. No, of course not. Probably. I think we're going to do like one at a time. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I said it was those models that really sort of like hooked me in to the whole thing because I just love the looks of the communicants. Um, it's just got that cool look, and also the heavy mech armor, which conveniently the last one I did with the shield, obviously Black Templars, so I whacked that on there just to fill out the shield a bit more. Right, where did I put that? Okay, that's there. Good old Basilicanum Grey. Hey, Marius. How are you, buddy? How's Mr. Titan going? Just water this down a little bit, just to give some shadow onto these white bits up here. This will all work out in the end, don't you worry. Have no fear. That's still slugging away at painting, but I was busy with my Space Marine 2 diorama first and finished. That's finished that. Cool. These Space Marines sure look weird. Yeah. Yeah, these ones look a little bit over the top with their buffness. They're definitely taller than Terminator. Um, but yeah, these are different superhuman preternatural thingies. What did you make of the Trench Crusade map? Thought it would look pretty cool. I love a map. I absolutely love a good Trench Crusade, or a map in general for like role play games. It's particularly, I always loved having maps. You know where you're going with a map. But it was good to see like the state of the Trench Crusade universe. In I suppose the old world setting, because we don't know what's going on with Americas. Um, it's out there, so who knows? Um, and then just seeing the other little hot spots around there. So like obviously one up in the north, like sort of Finland way, the one in um, sort of like Transylvania direction, that sort of way, like between Greece and um, Austria and that. And then obviously the one down by southern Italy, northern Africa, where Gibraltar is. So definitely um, lots to take in there. And obviously seeing the Golden Carnate as well mentioned. So that'll be interesting. Right now I've got 30k Primarch Vulcan model, and holy moly, I'm happy with it so far. I don't think really there isn't a bad Primarch. Like model wise, there isn't really a bad Primarch model. Um, they've all got the sense of character in particular, and Vulcan's blinged up to the eyeball, so he's going to look awesome. Uh, is it almost as fabulous as Fulgrim for bling. I was kind of hoping that Gibraltar was going to be a fortress in the middle of the Spanish invasion hotspot. No, but that's the thing though, because Gibraltar fell. The heretic legions got it first, so basically the whole of the Mediterranean is technically sealed off because there's no Suez Canal that hasn't been built. So everything's contained in the Mediterranean, um, and obviously you've got the heretic fleet rampaging out from Gibraltar because that is it's basically that area is its main fortifications now. Um, but it was nice to see, Britannia um, sitting there with Air and Air and Alba and Wales, which I know some Welsh people are a little bit upset because obviously Scotland and Ireland got their traditional names, and yet they didn't get Cymru, Cymru, sorry, Cymru. Um, so yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do similar with this again. Initially, I was going to do red, but then I looked at some of the artwork, and obviously they're not red because I was looking like proper like Inquisitor type red outfit, Scarlet Red or whatever. So I'm actually going to go nearer to what the artwork is with these. So, but going with a base, dark base colour. So, that's that. Some armpits. Okay. I've seen some very mixed reactions to the map online. TC does seem to be a bit Marmite. Well, I think some of it's going to be like if you because I did see somebody say like one of the first comments I read was like, "Oh, my country doesn't exist anymore," sort of thing. It's like, oh, okay, but did that country actually exists? Because modern times you can't be putting modern times maps onto maps of the turn of the last century um, because the everywhere was different back then. Apart from like obviously the main sort of like Great Britain was still what it was, apart from Northern Ireland, which I don't think Northern Ireland actually exists in this. Um, that has got me intrigued. Let me have a look. Yes, Northern Ireland. There is no Northern Ireland. So, because I think this is something I was saying the other week when Judge was on, um, was that obviously because of the timeline of when this all starts with Trench Crusade, um, certain things might not actually come to pass. So certain historical characters might not come to the fore. I know that they've already done something with like Joan of Arc, but Joan of Arc was a product of the Hundred Year War. But because there's now this big hell pit, or several hell pits now, um, would the Hundred Year War actually happen? You know, Scotland having their own independence and Ireland having its own independence is also something, because after 1066, when obviously the Normans took over, the Normans basically took us out into Ireland and, you know, conquered Ireland, sort of thing. Obviously, England and Ireland had been having spats, like, you know, little raids here and there and all that anyway. And obviously, Ireland had its own colonies in Scotland as well. So there's all that connectivity between the three anyway. But it was obviously the Normans, because the Normans, I've learned, conquered a lot around Europe, because obviously they were the civilized French-based Vikings under Rollo, where they went round, they captured like places in sort of like northern Spain and settled there. They captured Sicily and several other places to boot. So the Normans were really proactive at going out and capturing things and places. So does that still happen because of what's happening in the world? Hell Pit, you know, all that sort of stuff. The Black Death, which is that the Black Grail, obviously, the timeline here. But certain characters might not exist because of this whole difference now. Like Henry VIII. Like this. So again, he doubled down on Ireland, because Ireland, being a Catholic country and being very friendly towards the French and Spanish or whatever, and we didn't really want, like England didn't want that as a back door. You know, we're facing off with the French. We don't want them coming through Ireland to attack us. So that's why they doubled down and sort of reinforced going into Ireland, because of the thing. So does Protestantism actually become a thing as well? Because there is now evidence of holy shit going on. We've got the Metachrist and all that sort of stuff. So that would have people believing more in the religious aspect of things. So Catholicism, or has Catholicism now evolved into something else? So yeah, this is a wholly different universe from 1099, from the end of the First Crusade, or they can't really call it the First Crusade, it was the only crusade. And then it was in the trenches after that. So yeah, there's lots of things that need to, and not everybody's going to love stuff. Like I'm, like, because of the whole thing now, like again, I was saying the other week was that, like, though, like, I know they mentioned in something about that, like the colonies that England has, but why would they have those colonies if they've been sort of like hanging back, protecting their borders and stuff? I know like there wasn't really any mention of England or Britannia until it sort of Napoleonic, where it would have been Napoleonic times when the heretic fleet engaged the English fleet and, you know, routed it. So, and obviously Nelson died defending, doing a rearguard action sort of thing. So does that, so we've got Nelson, but again, in an alternate timeline, that person may not come to the fore because obviously other decisions and stuff that happened. Hair dry time. saw some people saying some things were impossible, but I also believe we have to take a little bit of poetic license for our realism, rule of cool, etc. Maybe they have them for forward staging bases. Yeah, I think obviously there probably would be certain things changed. Like you got to remember, like Thomas, who's been driving this, um, he's Finnish, and obviously up in Finland they've got this huge help out there, sort of thing. So it's not like trying to be favoritism and stuff. Um, but yeah, I don't know. We will see. Again, like the artwork's fantastic. The models are really characterful and look pretty cool. Um, so there is room for expansion within the game, but they've got to do something, and there's going to be, it's not going to be the same. So there will be things that are different. You can't, unfortunately, you've got to do things to make things interesting. It's like with like Helldivers. Helldivers 2, like England and Ireland do not exist in there. It's a radiation zone set, all dead. Doesn't stop people from playing the game though, does it? Perhaps it'll be like Road Trader and Second Ed 40k. They'll get it right in version 2.0. Yeah. And again, it's something different. It's going to take time. And having like people like Andy Chambers and Jervis involved is only going to basically help speed things up. Which is another good thing. So it's all going to work out. I have faith. I've yet to play a game. That's- Is that any better? It's all good. Excellent. That's I did see today local club is looking for people to play TC. I've been thinking about trying it out before I actually get too involved. It's worth it. Say I've watched a couple of the sort of game report, battle report sort of thing that a few channels have done, and it looks like easy enough. And as I say, the whole aim of it is to be sort of easy to pick up, so not overcomplicating things and stuff. So that's something that they're aware of, being game developers. Right. Um, Yes. Lord of Thief, greetings. How are you today? What are you up to? How is everyone? Yeah, I'm groovy. We're all doing some hobby. What are you working on? Just got back from a couple of games of 40k. Oh, what was you playing? And what was you playing, and who was you playing against? I should say, really. And was it glorious victory or glorious defeat? Why not both? Chaos Knights versus Blood Angels in glorious defeat. Yay! It was glorious. So it's a win, even though it was a loss. That's the thing. I don't mind losing games if they're entertaining and they have those like really cool sort of like little moments in there where you just go, you know what, I'm fucking awesome. And you come out of it looking good, feeling good. That's all good. Won the spoon at my last. All good stuff. That's you can't say fairer than that then, really, can you? My own fault, really. I took 100 firstborn marine list. So you took a battle company. I don't know. I did win Best Painted though. Oh, yeah, Battle Company. Yeah, with the name of Marius Gage, it's always going to be Ultramarines. Chapter Master during the time of Guilliman. No. La 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 la. Nice. I'll do that. Trench over. Changing up through the gears. Mm-hmm. Oh, more hair dry times. Overcomplicate things now by doing some base painting. So hey Mac, how are you, mate? How's your Saturday going? Head fried, been looking at cars all day, so relaxing with some Skaven. Just you and a bunch of Skaven sitting on the sofa, just eating some snacks and drinking beer. Well, you're always welcome here with your furry friends. I'm now adding some Nuln Oil over everything I've done so far onto the actual material of the outfit. obviously the metals as well. Give that a blast again with the hairdryer. Nope. 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 Yes. Yeah, we're discussing at the price of Warpstone. Well, net zero and hitting them hard. Yeah, that's those poor ratties. It's like the Freddo Frog Index. that price of those Freddos just keep going up and up and up. Freddo Frog, like seriously, when did they become fucking quit? Yeah, it's ridiculous. And Freddo Frog Index is hitting people hard in the pockets. Um, this is a trench pilgrim, dude. Him. Um, and this is the big, weird-looking thing. Is a scripture guardian. So it's basically like a religious creation golem type thing that walks around and it spews out words of God from the pages of religious texts. So it's like a combat librarian, but in a more traditional sense, I suppose. Not psycho or 40k ishness. Yes, yeah, it was Marius asked earlier on. Yes, I was. I've enjoyed looking at the maps. Um, Interested to hear your take on it because obviously, um, whilst Ireland is on there, the northern part is not. Well, it is, but it's just not Northern Ireland. It's all part of Air. Exactly. And, honestly, if you go back about half an hour, it was the same sort of thing. Yeah. Well, it's more the fact because obviously Ireland is under its obviously original name of Ire. Then you've got Scotland with Alba, yet Wales is still Wales. And although the thing starts from 1099, obviously 33 years after England got taken over by the Normans. So because of the whole religious upheaval stuff, because there's demons and then there's you know voices of God appearing in like observers and everything. So religious, like Catholicism, is still technically the main thing, or has that evolved into something else because of the appearance of demons and monsters and stuff? Because you're not as if like you can't actually believe in something because you've got things turning up to corroborate the existence of a god. So you can't really sort of say, "Oh, I've got another viewpoint," when you've got the voice of God turning up every now and again. But that's mostly with the observers. You don't actually hear what they say, but that's the whole thing. It's like, so other, Church of England doesn't exist. Also, conflicts that have happened in our timeline may not happen in their timeline. Like, sort of thing like the Hundred Years' Wars, the constant back and forth between France and England because of the greater threat of this demon incursion thing. So, yeah. Also, as I was saying the other week, it's like speculation that possibly America's wasn't discovered because of the whole, thing with all these fleets and stuff stopping people from going anywhere and doing stuff. So like no Christopher Columbus, no purging of South America, no 7-Year War, maybe no 30-Year War either in Europe. Germany, I don't think Germany exists. Because I screen capped the map. Yes, so they've still got the Holy Roman Empire. So Germany doesn't exist. France is sort of pre-France-ish. So obviously Spain is under Toledo. So it's still like older powers, like Aquitaine still there, the Duchy of Normandy. Brittany is there. Avignon on fire. So Anjou, wherever the Anjou was. We've got Holland. There's no Belgium. So there's no Flanders either, by the looks of things. Switzerland's there though. Yeah. So obviously Holy Roman Empire. So Germany doesn't exist because Germany had only existed from about 1840s or something. And obviously, well, Holy Roman Empire was basically all in name. I've been listening to a thing recently about like the Crusades and stuff and the creation of certain aspects of it, because you had the Constantinople Holy Roman Empire was the official Roman Empire, because the last emperor of Rome, because there was two emperors, the last emperor of Rome basically thought there's no point us having two. They're the main guys. So he took off his purple robes, folded them up, and sent them to Emperor Zeno in Constantinople and say, "There's no point. You are the emperor. I'm just a thing. So that's it." So the Roman Empire was Constantinople. So that's gone. Holy Roman Empire was sort of set up as a sort of trying to create a state of Germany in a way via Prussia and stuff. So interesting to see Kilkenny is listed as the capital. Yeah. Yeah. So I was saying earlier on, obviously, because of the Norman conquest of England, because I don't think that England should actually have an empire. Well, because they're saying they've got colonies, but that would be, the colonies are dependent on the Portuguese and the Dutch. And if I've got to check through the timelines when Gibraltar was lost, because with the heretic fleets there, they're marauding, stopping ships left, right, and centre. Would they risk going down that way all the time, trying to go around the Cape of New Hope and all that sort of stuff to find new world or a different way to the Indies and stuff? So it's little things like that that have a big impact on stuff. Like Christopher Columbus as well. Do they try going to China via the east, the western approach, sort of thing? Does he actually get out of the Mediterranean, because that's a bottleneck? Gibraltar blocks that pretty much. You've only got like a 12-mile gap, and you've got the heretic fleet is based at Gibraltar, so it's not exactly like going to be easy to run through that. So yeah, I think there's things that need to be looked at. For sure. Let's get back there. Wind's picking up outside. Judge, who was on earlier on, has also indicated with Trench Crusade that there is something being announced in about an hour's time now at Adepticon. I'm going to do the base. Hair dryer again. The new cafe army is a bit nice. To be honest, I've not really seen anything from the release. I woke up about 25 to 2, just randomly. I thought, actually, as I'm awake, I'll hang out and watch it, and then I fell asleep again. So yeah, it was I've again, like something like that. I've heard mixed bags about. Some people, oh, I really like that, and then, oh, I don't like it. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. So what are you gonna do? So I'll just that's that. I just saw that. So why go? Where are you? There you are. Okay, 2 secs. Where is it? Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. I've got no control of the actual stream. I've seemed to have locked myself out of my stream because I don't actually have. Um, and now I'm getting feedback because I've got this on, so that's off. This is weird. Um, Yeah, that's fine. I just want to have control of everything now, please. All right, that's weird. That's totally weird. I'll slap that on. We're going to have some adverts. Oh, no, straight in there. Okay, that's fine. So I have no idea what the crap I have done. Mm, uh, right, that's it. Okay, I've worked my way back into right. Uh, that was the other night. I was joined in on Crystal McDonald's Twitch stream, and she was showing me some stuff on how to like pull up images from things onto the screen. And I thought, right, okay. And I was taking bits in, but obviously I just went to do to pull up the pictures that you put into the Discord, and that's what shut the thing down. And I've now just got back to where the hell I should be. Um, so yeah, right, okay. That was a weird like 7 minutes or so. It completely freaked me out. Going, what the hell's going on? I'm locked out of my own stream. All I could do is like I could watch it, but I couldn't do anything else. Oh dear. Here's right. Right. Give me a red. I want a nice red. Give us a red. I said nice red. That's very red. I don't want that red. I want it a bit darker than that. Let's go with this. Oh, pardon me. Right, that's kind of back to normal-ish. Well, as normal as I'm going to get anyway. Right. Hell for leather. So the colour I actually normally would use for leather was actually Dryad Bark, but I don't seem to have any Dryad Bark, so I can't do that. Is the music still at an acceptable level, or is it a bit louder than the last lot? I'm thinking possibly a bit louder. All good, excellent. So, so how many more ratties do you have to do, Mac? Of this burgeoning rat infestation? So it's still pretty quiet for you. Right, okay. You say that, Mac. Still Legion Dreb. How to go over it with Rex. Um, yeah. So again, because it's like a lighter version. Because I think in some ways, like Dryad Bark is between Steel Legion and Rhinox, but without that sort of richness that Rhinox has. And I just realised I missed a little crossy. Rhinox hard for me. 10 Storm Vermin, 2 Weapons Teams, 2 Vermin Lords, Plague Monks, and a few characters. I think because what I did, like with the Yeoman, for example, you want focus? Come on, focus. There you go. So, because I sort of went a bit muted on the colour, so we had the khaki. I've gone with the sort of Xandri Dust for the outfits, Rakarth for the gaiters, Mornfang. I've kept it with like that sort of like brighter tan leather there. So with the belts there, for example, that was with um, Steel Legion on that in particular. Alright. Whereas this dude is just again that come on, come on, focus. Yeah, so these ones I've kept with sort of a washed over and dry brushed Mornfang with those pouches. And that's Xandri Dust for the backpack, and then Steel Legion on the back there. Yeah, I'm going to be careful with going into Discord now because of what happened last time. I'll have to ask Crystal again. it's kind of impressive. Hey, there's Titans and Thalax. Sorry, I was going to get distracted by anything mechanical even. That's looking a really nice little army you got going on there. And space is small. All the stuff we need to fill out. And 20 more clan rats as well. So you got a fair amount to be getting on with then. Here there are any spaces for units in the queue. Organisation is impeccable. Pilgrims remind me of Pyramid Head from Silent Hill. Yeah, but it also reminds me of like the old like Inquisition sort of more than anything else with like the pointy head dudes, or even some things from 40k Blanchitsu sort of stuff. Trying the old trick again. It's not working. You can get back over there. Yeah, well, let's say as soon as you heard about the brain cancer, it's like, oh fuck. Yeah, that's it's a shame. Again, like he's been around for donkey's years and across so many different parts. And then he went and got in with like Warlord games and that after Games Workshop. So there is life after Games Workshop. try again. So also have 2 Warlords, 3 Reavers, and Warhounds in the boxes. Well, that'll be something to look forward to doing, no doubt. So that's where we got to with this little monstrosity. That's the scripture guardian. Little candles and shit. Like Golden he's working on as well. And the trench program. Well, unfortunately, that's not been working. Yeah. Fancy cross on the back. Camo cloak. These trench programs do have a certain je ne sais quoi. And this dude is just wrong. Right. Cheers, Marius. So, I was saying earlier on, I got last night. Whoop, got these two done, and any mechs? Kind of. There's this. I think it was in the Trench Pilgrims actual force, and you've got this like it's like a dreadnought. They put summons inside it, and it's like a sanctified walking shrine, and it has an offering. Like somebody basically volunteers to sacrifice themselves and thrown onto this wheel that's attached to it. So it is like a dreadnought. This thing, a weird, non-dreadnought dreadnought, but still a dreadnought nonetheless. And that's all I've seen at the moment that they've got out at the moment. Apart from that, you've got like the heavy mechanized dudes. Like this fellow. I'll stuff some decals on there. His big machine gun. So you have like these communicants as they are, but with this like anti-material rifle. So they have well, tanks do exist. 13th, let's go. we've also got 16th and the 8th, which I didn't have the 7th unfortunately, so because I used them for my thingies. Imperial Fifth's vehicles. Um, so yeah, the 8th. But you know, you've got a lot of options there. Like I like the shock troopers. So basically, like you know, armor plate jumping into trenches with a Shrine hand, a Svei hand. Um, and this dude's like got a BAR, but as I said, it's that muted palette in colours. So the other day done this fellow who's part of the Red Brigade. But I thought I'd go because again I haven't really seen much to differentiate between like I know there's like different like dukes. There's like the overall duke, but I'm sure there's like other command structures sort of thing, or you know, like in Kingdom of Heaven where you have a party of knights under a like lord sort of thing, um, like Tiberius and Balian. You know, so there are factions within faction. So like units or knightly, well, say not necessarily like knightly orders, but there are sort of one person, and he has a group of soldiers with him. So until there's like more information on like unit construction or like in the background at least, because there are obviously there's rules for the air rangers and Alba dudes, so they get uh, additional rules for I think he did um, for the units, so to speak. Like if you search up on Trench Crusade and playtest rules, you can actually at the bottom there's a option, and it has all the named different models, sort of thing, like good and bad. And you just click on it, and it tells you what base size they have, movement, and yeah, base stats, and any particular special sort of abilities and stuff that they may have. So just seeing. So it's been over 2 hours since. Um, yeah, sorry, where Judge came in at the start, he said that like in 2 hours' time, there's going to be some of an announcement for Trench Crusade at Adepticon. So I'll just see if anything has leaked. Um, Sorry, I was also going through. I just got caught by this fucking eagle thing and just grabbed a deer and lozzed it down the mountain, as they do. No, 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 no. I don't know. Capybaras. No, I can't see anything news-wise. Trench Crusade. Right. So it might just obviously just come through in the morning, if anything. It depends on who's reporting in from. No, I've checked on several social medias and cannot find anything. Um, so yeah, sorry, can't update you on that side of things. But yes. Mm. I will get to doing a group photograph of everything and obviously posting it up on places such as thingy, like Instagram and that. But I know I saw something earlier on the Facebook page where they was asking about um, the seminar that Thomas and that did, and apparently Mini Wargaming were covering that. So Dave from Mini Wargaming has a fault. So it's handy that friends with Dave. I've actually got his mobile number. I'm going to text him. Alright, whether or not we'll get anything back anytime soon, so hopefully I might get something in the morning. But let's take a little wander for you. Ooh. Again, it would be nice if this fucking focused. So there's my mercenaries and my new Antioch dudes. Doggo. Young monks. Sniper monk. The observer. The heavy mechs. Communicant. Anti-tank dudes. Combat engineers. And trench program. See, because I'm not actually sure. I think you could run both of them together if you had a big enough game. Because obviously it's all based on like you have X amount of cash and you have to pay for each of the models within it. But so and that's the Scythe from Armoured Clash, the Defiant from Armoured Clash, and that's the Wells Surveyor that I've also been working on, which is standing over there. Right. So yeah, I think like you can do like 2 squads or whatever, so you can like take a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B, and vice versa. Just wondered if the zombie guys were part of the same army as the rest. They look a bit unique. So that's the thing. There's obviously the Hell Party has several factions. So and they're like vying for dominance over each other and all that sort of stuff. So it's like the 9 Lords of Hell or whatever. So obviously you'll be getting other factions coming in, or you could utilize some of these and have them as variants or whatever. But yeah, we will see. We will see how this progresses in the regards of Trench Crusade. But apart from that, yeah, I'm pretty happy overall. And let's say to do all these in a couple of weeks has been quite a lot of fun. Yeah, I think it's about as I said, I've done this week. I've done these dudes, the 2 combat dudes, these 2, him, those 2, that dude there, 2 there. So I'd say 2/3 of these models I've done this week. I did whiz through a few, to say the least. But yeah. Anyway, it's almost 11 o'clock. Well, it is 11 o'clock. And I think that will be me for today. I say we got painted what we wanted painted, so that's the main thing. But yes, thank you for coming and hang out and having a chat and just chilling despite almost crashing the screen. Yeah, back on Wednesday as normal, and I wonder what I'm going to be painting then. I've got to figure out what I'm going to be painting. Oh my god! Get me busy painting the company heroes. You're more than welcome, Marius, and thanks for hanging out. Both of you, Mac, and others that joined us earlier on with the chat. Judge for stuff, um, whatever he said. But yeah, I will catch up with you all again Wednesday. So enjoy the rest of your weekend and take it easy. See you around. Peace out, bro.